Ewan Currie of the Sheepdogs. Ewan, thanks so much for joining us. The EP, No Simple Thing. New Sheepdogs due May 28th. Gratuitous question first. What are your sort of like initial feelings towards the record? Are you happy with the results, etc., that kind of thing?
Yeah, I'm very happy. My baseline for pleasure is very low right now, obviously in this pandemic. But yeah, I think it's some really cool sounds. I think it's like six songs that somehow uh, sound different enough, but are still cohesive that they like make a nice 25 minutes of music. And I think it's just kind of like the perfect vibe of tunes that people want to hear right now.
Literally, my next question is with Keep On Loving You, what's the vibe with that song? Like, I was thinking there's a vibe, like something that you're trying to capture with the release. Rock and Roll is another great song from the record. Is it a summary kind of feeling that you were going into making this record?
Feel like we always get end up kind of sounding summary. I'm not really sure. It's just like in our music, but it's like the style we like. But yeah, it's like I always looked at rock and roll as like, a way to kind of bolster yourself against bad times. Like when like when things are bad, like I turn to music as like a way to lift myself up and to pick my spirits up. And so keep on loving you is kind of about like when your love is threatened, what are you going to do to defend it? And in a larger sense, that's kind of what the pandemic has been like, where it's like we're all
Yeah.
facing these tough times. And it's like, I didn't really want to write about like uh, social distancing or
Wearing a
whatever,
mask.
Yeah, wearing a mask or like, not being able to go into the store or something. I wanted to look ahead and think about all the great times that are around the corner.
Well, it's a great song. I'm digging it, man. I'm thinking
Sweet.
very cool vibes for sure with that one. Um, when you write an album, I mean, yeah, I mean, we can delve more into what you were just saying too, because I think there's some good stuff there. But when you write an album, when you're thinking, okay, you got to record the album, then you release it. How much time does it take? You said 6 tracks on this new release, and we were around late summer last year starting this record, right? This EP.
Yes.
So how long does it actually take, from the songwriting to actually, hey, it's release day, May 28th?
I mean, it's hard to say. Like this all got kind of dragged out because of obviously COVID, but
Sure.
like one of the songs was written like, mere weeks before we went into the studio. The rest
Mm.
are kind of written at different times. Like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I just basically bank songs all the time. So I just have like a big like archive that I go through and I find like, what's the best stuff right now. And like we had a whole record basically rehearsed. We were going to go make a record in Portland, Oregon in April of last year. And of course, we couldn't go across the border. We had to go
Mm.
stay home and all that stuff. So we have a bunch of songs banked and we got, future songs as well. But we decided to just do like an EP because we're kind of looking at what bands we're doing. And it's like a lot of like uncertainty in the music industry. You can't tour right now.
Yes.
People are dropping albums and they kind of like come and go because it's like, how do you promote them? So like,
Yeah.
here I am doing things like this, chatting on Zoom and stuff. But
It's off into the ether, and then
yeah,
and maybe that might be it. You might not be able to back it up with a tour.
exactly. So we decided to kind of do a 6 song thing and then keep something in the holster so that we can kind of follow up in the next little while with something else. But yeah, it's the timing. It's like it's not always like I wish I could just like make a song and put it out at the end of the week kind of thing. Like I love the idea of that. And
Yeah, yeah, the idea of that exactly. Yeah.
yeah, in theory it's possible, but the industry and the label and the people working it, it's kind of seems to slow down a bit.
Ewan Currie of the Sheepdogs, brand new EP, No Simple Thing. You recorded the album in Montreal, obviously tough to cross a border, like you mentioned. But why was it so important for you guys to record the album at this particular studio in Montreal?
Well, part of it was because we were just happened to be in Montreal, uh,
Okay,
which is
Johnny
a
on the spot, right there.
yeah. Well, it's
Perfect.
a very pragmatic answer, but it's like we were all separate, right? Like it's the Zoom era. It's the like people, I'll tape my part and then we'll play it with your part, or these like performances where it's like the little Zoom boxes of all the people playing together. I hate those things. That's not what music is. Music is like a collaboration in the moment, and it's live and it's all that stuff. So we waited until we were all together in Montreal taping this Canada Day thing last year, and we hit a studio there called Mixart. It's very cool,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, and we wanted to make sure that we made a record that was musicians in the same room playing live together. We recorded to tape because we just think that's totally worth it, and I think it just matters even more so because we're in this like everybody's separate kind of era right now.
So true. Ewan Currie, the Sheepdog. So it's an EP for some, maybe we even break it down a little bit. EP
Yeah,
extended play.
yeah.
EP's traditionally shorter than a full length record. You're pretty familiar with them. You've released a few of them, right? I mean, unless you're Nine Inch Nails, usually the EPs are shorter.
Yeah.
Was this the original plan, the EP?
No, it was like we were gonna do a full record, but we did, like I said, we decided to kind of just do the little guy just in case it flopped or whatever, I
But
guess.
could you have put those other songs? Like, I guess, when we're talking about albums, they are just an entity. You couldn't have just grabbed some of those songs and said to the record label, we're going to just do a full length record coming up instead of the EP. But I guess maybe you're just following the vibe of where you're at as a band.
I think it just makes sense to sort of like test the waters with an EP
Mm-hmm.
because like if we did a whole 12 songs, it's going to take twice as long.
Mm-hmm.
Plus someone's got to write these songs, aka me. So, I didn't want if it's so like it's so confusing as to what's going on with the industry. So like I didn't want this thing to just go and disappear and then us be like, well, I guess we got to write an entire other record. But
Yeah.
so that's kind of why we did the short form thing, I guess.
I
Yeah.
think you answered that perfectly. That's sort of where I was getting to. All right. So you got the band, you're a producer. You guys have played some of the biggest festivals in the world, Glastonbury, Bonnaroo, late night TV. What's it like, to think, okay, I'm inspired, I'm pumped. Let's make a record, possibly play it live, get a song on the radio. Like, what's it like to have people's attention and curiosity? Because you're at this place where you weren't always here, right? As an artist, as a band, as a group together. But now, there are people. What's going on with the Sheepdogs? What's it like, that genuine feeling to be
It's
able to do
great.
this? Yeah.
I mean, it's terrific to be playing about it. Like that's the thing that like I like most about it. Like obviously it's like I'm trying to make a living and make my way in the world, but and not have to like, swing a hammer or, tar a road or something. But it's like I really love it. Like I saw some social media posts of someone had like all of our records. They like had lined them all up, like
Yeah.
even
Wow.
like little weird, like obscure things that we'd put out. And I'm looking for this one last piece to my collection. I'm just like so stoked that like a record collector, because I collect records too, would be jazzed to like put together the whole thing and just like that we're like kind of building this body of work and that people are still stoked like on what we're doing next. Like when I go to shows and I see like a 20-year-old like guy or girl and they got the long hair, like the kind of the next sort of generation of people like me who still like to rock in the old way and they're singing the new songs and stuff. It's just amazing because it's like I still feel like I'm a schmo from Saskatoon who was like in the height of the emo era. I was like, I'm gonna write old school rock songs. So it's like very strange.
Look, it's no secret, things were tough for you guys going into Learn and Burn 2010. You were 5 or 6 years into it at that point. The future was uncertain. Things whip around though. You end up on the cover of Rolling Stone. How often does the Rolling Stone magazine cover come up with, say, guys like me asking you about it? And how much did it change for you guys from there on in?
It probably depends on what their prep is because like if they just hit the Wikipedia, it's obviously gonna factor in.
Oh, I
I can always
know.
tell when they've read the Wikipedia because it's like
Yeah.
certain
Yeah.
things will come up.
Well, it's
But
weird because I was there. Like, I can remember the moment. Like, I remember talking about it, hyping it up. I mean, I was at the
sure.
same radio station for years, and the fact that we're one province over at that one point, and I just remember like, what? No, this is
Yeah.
Canadian band, not just like from Saskatoon, but a Canadian band. But anyway,
No, it look it. I mean, it's something that's always going to be linked to us, and it's we owe definitely a debt to that competition because it really put us on the map. At least back then. Um, I can't remember what the question was. Now I got all
sorry, I was just wondering, like,
sidetracked.
from things change from there on in. Like I was saying, like obviously, you guys were at that, 2010. And then a year later, like 2010, you're probably, I don't know what's going to happen with this band.
Yeah.
Maybe even 2009 or whatever. And then 2011, it's just like turn around, you're working with the Black Keys and a lot of
Yeah,
good.
well, I didn't have a credit card until like December of 2011, or yeah. So that gives you an idea of where I was at. Like I couldn't buy anything online until I was like 27. Uh, yeah, yeah, man, we just started selling tickets, and then when you get a little heat behind your name, then you can start getting booked on festivals and things like that. It's but like you got to back it up. Like you can't like there's a lot of people that get sort of that like 15 minutes, or like maybe they win like a contest like we did, or they
Mhm.
go viral or whatever. But unless you can kind of back it up, walk the walk, I guess, um, it's not going to last. So this is the 10th anniversary of that competition
Yeah.
this year, and
Yeah.
it's like here we are, we're still kicking it. We've survived. Hopefully we survive this pandemic, but it feels like we've done pretty well, and we definitely owe a debt of gratitude to the comp.
Um, you know, there's a part of me that thought we could go the whole conversation without, talking pandemic. The fact that, so many musicians and entertainers in the last year and a half, it's just been sucked out of you, right? Like this is your livelihood. People standing next to each other, and we're being told not to do that. Sweating, spitting, just being at a live concert. This is the life of a musician. Sure, you can release records, you can
Mhm.
do certain things like this, but really the livelihood of a band. And so, how has the last year been for, you, Sam, Jimmy, Ryan, your brother? Like, I guess you and your bro can get together, but
Yeah, I think legally we're not supposed to, because you don't live in the same house. But
that's true.
yeah,
That's true.
we still do. So whatever. I mean, everyone's doing their thing. Uh, man, I mean, I don't want to make it sound like we're flouting like we're not being
No,
responsible.
of
We're
course.
doing all the things. It's been hard, man. Like I spend so much time I spent my entire adult life touring, and
Yeah,
uh,
that's what I'm
and
saying. Like,
yeah, and
so
it's like
weird.
I see those guys, 200 plus days a year, and now
Yeah.
it's like I barely see them at all. I see my bro now and then, but yeah, very big change. Feels really strange, but it's really got us kind of itching to get back out there, and I think it's good because I think like we've done so much touring over the last 15 years that like at a certain point you start to kind of like I don't know, maybe it might break you. So I think
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
like
yeah. Maybe it was a decent break idea too, right? Maybe it was give you guys a little reprieve to,
yeah, if I'm
as long as
taking
you can
the
survive and eat, I guess.
yeah, we're okay. We're
Yeah.
hanging in there. Optimistic side is like, took a break from the road, kind of like took care of some things in my personal life, and the non-touring side of my life that maybe got neglected over the course of
I hear you.
this crazy career. And the other thing is I just really wrote a lot of songs and worked on a lot of sort of like non-touring aspects of being a musician, and that feels really good.
Ewan Currie, the Sheepdogs, new EP, May 28th. Now, I just wanted to do a little like getting to know you. I'm a little more fun, more relaxed questions here, if that's okay.
Sure, let's do it.
Okay. All right. So Ewan, like, is there anything strange that has to be on the Sheepdogs rider? Anything that you guys think of? Is there a must? Do you guys have a must on a rider or anything like that? Anything
And
strange?
our writer's pretty simple. It's usually got like beer, whiskey, water.
Pilsner by any chance?
Uh, yeah, I definitely would be into some pilsners if we're in the prairies. Yeah, we usually keep it like lager beer. We're not doing like crafty stuff usually.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hummus and veggie tray. We try to keep it pretty healthy on the food vibes, because it's like you know,
Mm-hmm.
you don't want to be greasing it up before the show.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Nothing crazy, man.
No, nothing.
The first rider we ever had, we were opening for Kings of Leon, and we put like fresh socks and packs of cigarettes on it. That
I
was,
saw you on that tour. That was an amazing tour. I always think about Kings of Leon because, they have a similar story about going into their basement with a bag of weed
yeah.
and just coming out. And you also had that similar story. I think it was Learn and Burn, maybe, that you guys went into a house, or that you guys just went in there with a big bag of, I don't know.
Yeah, it was Ryan.
It's
Ryan
a
was
similar
renting
story. Yes.
like the middle section of a house,
Yes.
and he would work in the day, and then I would just go in there and basically sweat my balls off because it was like
That's right.
40 degrees in that room. Yeah, it was. I would just basically work all day. Then those guys would get done their jobs and meet me afterwards.
And
and we work.
KOL have a similar story to that as well,
Yeah,
especially when
yeah.
they're starting out. Can you text KOL? Are you in text like, do you have, because I know you used to cover their music and then all of a sudden
Yeah.
anyway.
I think I have a couple other numbers, but they'd probably be like, new phone, who dis?
Okay. Who dis? Coffee. Where does it fit into the importance of the Sheepdogs? Like preferences or anything like that? You guys, is coffee big with the Sheepdogs?
Yeah, 4 out of 5 of us are big coffee drinkers. Ryan is a crazy espresso. Like he has his own espresso machine. He'll bring.
Nice. What?
My
Okay.
my bro doesn't drink coffee. He's a weirdo.
Okay. But he doesn't do Red Bull or something, does he?
No, he keeps it
Okay.
pretty clean. He drinks tea, water,
Look at
beer.
this guy. All right.
Yeah.
Bands get asked to do things. Is there anything unique that you guys have been ever asked to do, like a private party for a wealthy prince, or be in a Smarties commercial, or maybe have people want to clone sheepdogs and name them after you guys, or something strange, anything like that?
The government sent us to Kazakhstan for some reason
What?
in the year of I guess it was the 150th Canada year.
That's right.
There. We went over to Kazakhstan. There's like a partnership between the two countries. It's actually because Kazakhstan is kind of similar to Saskatchewan, where it's got like this farming flat lands, and you can like a lot of agriculture, and so there's like kind of a mentor thing going on between the two countries. But yeah, they had us play like 3 sets over there to like, I don't know, show them our culture, but it was very bizarre.
Goodness, that would have been I would have loved to watch that. That would have been amazing.
It was initially, I didn't want to do it. I don't really know why, but I'm really glad I went. It was a fascinating trip. It was very cool.
One last question with Ewan from the Sheepdogs. Have you ever had a chance to smoke a joint with either Snoop Dogg, Willie Nelson, Cheech or Chong, or Seth Rogen? Any of those guys?
No, I don't think I've ever been around any of them.
Thought maybe there's a slight chance.
I did offer my joint to Buble one time, and he hit it. So that's we'll go help with that one.
Nice.
He's actually cool.
Yeah. I was going to say, because I thought maybe you guys would have had a chance to be at the top of the, that smoke chain somehow. People would want to be like, I want to smoke with the Sheepdogs. I want to experience something with those guys, because I hear stories about people like Doug Benson. I don't know if you're familiar with him. He always talks about smoking with Brad Pitt or something like that, and they always talk about these levels of like, who's the most famous person you got to smoke with. But now we have it. Michael Bublé. That's pretty good. That's good. That's good.
He's from Vancouver, right?
Yes,
So,
yes.
Yeah, those are BC guys.
Ewan Currie, the Sheepdogs, brand new EP. Purchase it, buy it, support Canadian music from the mean streets of the city of Bridges, Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, home of Roddy Piper. No Simple Thing, May 28th.
Yeah, you heard.
All right.
Sick.
Thanks, man.
Hey, thanks. I'm so sorry again about being late. I just, I'm having quite a day over here, but everything's all good now. So
awesome. Well, how many of these interviews are you doing?
I do a bunch each day, and it's just like it's crazy because they're like, even they're all Zoom now.
Yeah.
And so I have to look at my face while I'm doing it, which I hate. But
yeah, this is the first for me. This is my first ever Zoom interview, dude. Yeah.
It's like a lot of them don't need to be, but that's just the world we're living in. So yeah.
Well, good. Thanks, man. Peace to you.
Yeah,
Take
brother.
it easy. All right. We'll see you again.
Take care.